Captain's Log, Take 1, Karl Dinnington. I am standing here overlooking the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House in Sydney. And here I am with the wonderful Catherine Riches, aka Cat, the human highlighter, the graceful warrior. Now tell me, what do you prefer to be called?
I guess that depends on which person I'm speaking to.
So who are you speaking to?
The Wandering Wolfster.
So who does the Wandering Wolfster refer to you as?
The human highlighter.
So tell me, the human highlighter, how do you feel sitting up here in this hotel room overlooking this beautiful, magnificent view that I'm actually got a time lapse on, which we might be able to put to this audio recording?
How do I feel? Well, I spent 6 years here in Sydney, and every day I would walk to work, because I worked in the Rocks for a number of those years, and every day I would walk to the Rocks and I would see this hotel and see the windows and see the view and go, one day I'm going to stay there. And here I am. And how do I feel? It's a bit surreal, to be honest with you, because the level of the building that we're at, I get to see not only everywhere I've worked, but I used to go drinking and go for my lunch. And, you know, when you just see these places and they recall memories, and you can see yourself back there and you can cringe sometimes, but at the same time, when you go back to a place where you had a lot of things happen, a huge chunk of my 20s was in Sydney, and I just left home in England. So, you know, finding a job here in Sydney and then staying here for 6 years and trying to fit into a city that I really didn't resonate with was an incredible time in my life. And it pushed me to so many depths. And it pushed me to be someone I wasn't. So yeah, to come back here and really love that person I was at that particular time, and understand that, you know, never again will I force myself or shoehorn myself into a place if I don't fit. I will simply pack my very light bag and move on, because life's too short to just try and be somewhere where you don't fit in, and that you feel that you have to be someone you're not. Whether that's drinking, whether that's like shelling out money for people to have drugs that, you know, that's not even your scene, whether it's like being the designated driver because everyone else is high, all of these things, and you're just like, why am I doing this? These aren't my people. But you don't realize it at the time, because like I said, you're just trying to fit in. And, you know, when you look back on these moments, when you realize how codependency and people pleasing are so easy to fall into, especially when you've left everything you've known, which was, being in the UK and my support networks and everything there, and then coming here to Sydney and throwing myself straight back into work rather than traveling like I think I was supposed to do. So yeah, getting swayed into the world of recruitment and catapulting myself back into that world that ironically I was walking away from in the UK.
Wow, what a journey. So you would sober drive people around who were high on drugs and also provide money for such drugs. Damn, I wish I had known you back then on my drug journey, but we'll get into that in another later episode maybe. But tell me more about this this backpack that you're packing. What you said, it was really light. What's this about?
Well, I think you just said yourself. It's a bit surreal having a full backpack and it feels like a balloon. I guess over the years I've realised how much crap we pick up, and shedding people, shedding places, shedding and appreciating who we were, but also shedding that self of us as well, is sometimes shedding those things that we've brought along the way and detaching and recognising that just because we may have bought something one day The next day we may wake up and go, you know what, it's just not me anymore. And it's okay. It's okay to shed this stuff. Like, you know, if we look at our similarities with nature, and, you know, the shedding of the skin of the snakes don't worry about shedding skin. They just do. And they gradually do it over as long as they need to. And they leave the skin, and the skin decomposes, never to be seen again. Or sometimes it is seen and it's picked up and it's appreciated for the beauty it is, and the reminder of it's okay to shed our skin to grow. So yeah, shedding the skin, shedding the stuff, shedding materialistic possessions, shedding emotions, shedding memories, and walking away with the lightest backpack ever, for me, symbolizes my aura and how I feel right now about life. Is not attaching and just going with the flow, and, you know, recognizing that we don't need stuff to feel validated. We need the essentials, and you know, we only need clothes nowadays because we've kind of created that as a society. But even clothing wasn't essential, you know, thousands of years ago. As long as you had a fig leaf, you were fine. And even then, really, did it matter? Some tribes still don't do that. So yeah, I guess I'm just trying to be the change I want to see in people, and recognizing that you can walk away from these incredibly full lives and see the beauty and lightness of being able to travel, or just pack everything up in your hanky and your stick and off you go.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love the analogy of the snake shedding its skin and then slithering on. Where would you say that you were slithering on to? What is your next place you're slithering to?
Well, after Sydney, we are heading up to Gympie for Christmas. So I'm going to hightail up the coast, probably stop at Port Macquarie because it's one of my favourite places. Just to soak in the sights, and then, you know, probably have a couple of days intense driving. But yeah, heading up to Gympie to see my beautiful soul brother, MK, and his partner, Lakshay. And obviously, Karl, MK, Lakshay, and we're just going to have a really awesome Christmas day together, soul family, and just people on the same wavelength, and, you know, probably talk a lot about the galactics and talk a lot about life and, you know, different dimensions, and just the beautiful love that we have for each other and have for other things around us, and certainly nature. And we are going to be surrounded by the most beautiful landscapes and nature. So slithering on from there, I shall be heading to either the Sunshine Coast for New Year's Eve, and then eventually on to Los Angeles. So yeah, setting off on the 1st of January to get on a very long flight to get to LA. And then slithering for 4 days there, and then heading to Buenos Aires. So yeah, very, very excited.
Where's that?
In Argentina.
Oh wow! Wow, that's beautiful.
See.
And do you have any more closing words for your audience here?
Oh.
Before we sign off.
I think my biggest thing, recognizing being sat here with a beautiful glass of Byron's Haven, is that you cannot heal where you're hurt. Everywhere you look will remind you of that person or those people that hurt you, that reduce you to tears. You know, it takes a very strong person to be able to walk away from that and truly heal from it. And if you are a sensitive person and an empath at that too, you know, those energies linger. So every time you see them, you can cast yourself back there. It's basically like being in this negative time loop. But you can go back to those places where you were hurt and recognize the growth that you have transpired, and those pain feelings that you've transmuted now into nothing but love for yourself of who you were, and nothing but love of the incredible city and the gratitude that we're in right now to be in the space that we're in. So yeah, that's probably my final thought, is that if you are truly hurt in a place and everywhere you look reminds you of something, whether it's a house, whether it's a field, a park bench, then take some time out. Like, go away from it for a while and really tune in to what happens there. I mean, we can always teleport ourselves back there, right, through meditation or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you're really struggling, it can be time to move on and just recognize that the reason why you're struggling is because it just doesn't feel right to be there anymore, because it's just not aligning with you. So yeah, move on and start a new chapter. But always love yourself in that chapter, and sometimes that can take a lot of growth and a lot of healing and a lot of acceptance at the same time.
Yo, so you hear that? You gotta love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, and just let all the shit go that doesn't serve us anymore. Alright, this is Wandering Wolfster with the Graceful Warrior up at Sydney, signing off on the Captain's Log. Well, which is day 1, I think. Anyway, day 1, log 1, out.